Huh? Oh, I literally just started it, so it's.
Yeah, better not.
Oh. I know as soon as I start talking, I'm like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It's not doing the pre roll. Alright, I guess I'll start talking and see what happens. Alright, everybody. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I'm excited to be back here. Not 100% sure if the ads are going to interrupt me, but I would like to get started anyway because I have a little bit of a time crunch today. So yeah, we are going to be working more on Kain's OC. Let me go ahead and pop over there. Let me make sure my VTuber model is up, and it is. So yeah, we're gonna be working on this. I did the flats last night. I did some cleanup, and I did a basic background, like he was on his way into the little either Reaper Association or the lab that he works at. So yeah, I just went ahead and set the mood, and that way from there we can go ahead and do like the shading and the rendering, and I can make sure that it looks correct. I'm actually gonna see if I can get a quick reference for this. Walking. Let's see, lighting. Walking in from outside. Reference. Let's see. Pose reference, a reference. Let's just do this. I think he'll like mostly be in like this cool shadow because he's like in an archway. So I think it'll be okay if we kind of leave this as it is, and then we can add a little bit of lighting into it. I think it'll be fine. Alrighty. So let me go ahead and go back over here. And let's see, that is his key. Alright, let's start with the skin here. I'm going to put it in a separate folder. This character is pretty pale here because he's like a homunculus, so I'm gonna try not to make him like too terribly like dark skinned. Not go like super heavy on like the shading, that kind of thing. So we're just gonna, I hue shift it a little bit here, and I picked a slightly darker color than his hair. So we're just gonna put down some of the hard shadows real quick. And I'm gonna do this like as if it's like maybe there's a little bit more light coming from like this side here. I think that'll work out for what we're trying to do. And this will be mostly covered up because of his hair and the key blocking the light here. Actually, it'd probably be 100% covered, I think. And the key's going to block a lot there too. And I'm just using my lasso tool to make these cell shading shadows. And then I like clean it up with my mapping pen. A little bit for like his jawline. Oops. I was thinking about giving him some like maybe like some purple under his eyes, like he doesn't quite sleep, just for like some take some artistic liberties here with it. Also, since he's like a science type character, since his master is an alchemist, I'm sure he probably stays up pretty late, like trying to learn like his master's like techniques and stuff. So I feel like alchemy's not something you can learn overnight. So let's have this side of the face be more in shadow. But we'll cut out a little bit here. Go ahead and go across here. Make sure his scarring gets some shadows too. There we go. We have some lip shadows. With just a little bit of some shadow here. Still keeping it fairly anime here. Oops. Supposed to fill that. There we go. That. Let's see. Some there. From his collar. All this is going to be in the shadow. Hey, Nympha. How's it going? I hope you had a good weekend. See just a little bit of some shadow here. Kind of where the little bones and the hands are. Nothing crazy though. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, sleeping is always good. It wasn't too bad. I did have to go and I did have to take some stuff out of like the car and whatnot, so that was a little bit of a pain. But other than that, it was okay. We went and saw Havoc's parents, and they fed us, so that was cool. That was definitely a nice little trip there. So always a fan of when someone feeds me. So I'm not food motivated. I don't know what you're talking about. Vicious Anarchy slander. Alright, I think I do want to put some purple under his eyes a little bit. Just a little bit. Oops, actually got some on his nose there. I'll go ahead and take care of that. I feel like science types such as myself like never really sleep. Like I'm really into like science and whatnot. Obviously, because like my VTuber model storyline's pretty nerdy there. So, but I always like the characters in like anime that like look like they never sleep. So I'm like, hey, that's me. I never sleep. I can be associated with this. I've actually been sleeping a little bit better since we moved, really, which is pretty nice. I'm not used to getting sleep. Make sure I save pretty often here. And I'm not 100% sure that a homunculus would have like the same color blood. So I'm gonna make his blood like a little more like magenta and whatnot on his skin. I'm still gonna try to keep him pretty pale though. I don't want him to look like dead. But, you know, I don't like leaving the skin just like super pale like that. So I mean, obviously it's good for like some character types, like if they are like say like a reanimated corpse or something like that, you know. Pretty sure homunculus is just from like raw materials that are, you know, still human stuff that they're made out of, so So I'm just doing a little bit around where like the hard edges for the shadows are. Then of course need some on his ears. Oops, I didn't do any over here. It's like getting the engine going on Mondays here is always fun. I do have coffee though, so that's good. There we go, and I'm gonna turn that down a bit, duplicate it, and also do like a multiply layer of it. There we go. Now he doesn't look so dead. Still pale though. Let's see, so let's put some of the bounce light we got going on in here. A little bit there and under here. Just because there's a lot of like greenery from like the outside here that's going on. It's going to be reflecting off of this this stone slabs a little bit here, so it's gonna show up a little bit. There we go. That looks good. We'll put just a little bit of some light sources here and there. Just on this side of his face. A little bit on his hand here. So we don't want him to be like too dark, even though he's like walking into like, you know, place where I'm assuming he does his work, so put some a little bit of highlight here and there. I like to kind of like do it across the ridges of the eyelids. Just like a stylistic choice I like to do. Take this and smudge it out a little bit. And this be, oops. There. We can blend that out. It's not so harsh there. bit on his lip here. It's probably good for that. Put a little bit down here. And then, of course, across the top of his hands here. Maybe a little bit on his forehead up here might hit. And we'll blend it out some so it's not so harsh. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's actually turn it down quite a bit because we're going to do some layering on here. Turn that down to 15. Might even turn this hard light down also. And let's turn this down to like 5. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Oops. Let's do this as, make sure we got this as a, what we're actually working on here. So let's do that. Alright, so I think the skin's looking pretty Gucci so far, so that's good. Let's find a gradient map. Let's see, where is the one that I like to use? I really need to like label it once I find it. I gotta figure out how to change the name on it so it's not in like kanji or Korean when I do find it. Yeah, this really slows me down. I need to do some organization here. I think, is it one of these? Nope, none of those. I'll find it, I swear. I just gotta keep clicking. I just like it because it has like a lot of like color variation in it. feel like I've been through all these already, though. What? We'll just do this number till we find it. Sometimes I use that one I just passed, but that's not the specific one I'm looking for. These are fantasy. Here we go. Alright, and he's pretty pale, so let's see. That makes him really pale. Hold on, I gotta put this in the soft light blending mode, because that's what I usually use. Well, it's not too bad. He's still pretty pale, but the character is like really, really pale anyway, so I think that might do the trick. Let me just go through them and see which ones look the best. Well, let's keep him really pale. We'll do that. And I'm gonna back out here and make sure that everything's reading okay. Maybe we can bring it shadows up just a little bit more so we get more definition. I think nice and subtle works pretty well. There we go. Got his skin all done. Let's go ahead and merge that. Ooh, not by 30, that's way too much. Let's just do 10 for chromatic aberration. And we're going to turn that effect way down because we don't need it to be that intense. Maybe I'll make the chromatic aberration a little bit more intense. So let's do that and duplicate, color. Let's do it up to 15, see how it looks. There we go, you can see it just a little bit there. Nice, that's what I want. Alright, hell yeah, skin done. Alright, his lab code is really big, so let's go ahead and do that next, so we can try to get like the bigger sections out of the way first. And I think I'm just going to use the regular shadow color that I was using. And let's see if we got... And put that as the lines as a reference layer, so when I use my paint bucket it'll, you know, fill in like the bigger spots here. That'll help out quite a bit. We're gonna have a lot of stuff in shadow here, so This is all going to be in shadow there. Mostly shadow there. Why'd you do that? There we go. And this is going to be in shadow because of his head. It's on the inside. Maybe what I'll do is a couple spots where the light might hit, just kind of carve them out a little bit. And then I'll like soften it a little bit, like that. I don't think it'll do that anywhere else on the inside of that part, so that's good. Sometimes keeping like the shading really like basic also looks really nice, so there's no need to like overdo it, like, you know, if it doesn't call for it. So let's see, so the hand's gonna block out a good amount of light here. A little bit from the tension point there. Actually, a lot of this is mostly going to be shadow. So let me go ahead and do that. Oh crap, I just covered up that spot, but that's okay. We can go back in and carve out some spots. So there, and then probably a little bit across the top here. And we can always add like a rim light over here for like some bounce light, which I'm sure I'll end up doing, so. Maybe not right there. Probably just in here. There. And then a lot of that would be covered up too. And then kind of the inner sides here. So all this is probably going to be shadow. Oops. Just trying to follow my lines a good amount here. Let's see, this is like a dip here. No. I can't wait to work on the little event that Suture's putting together. It's pretty cool. Seems like it's gonna be fun. I've never actually done like a seasonally themed artwork like that of like any of my OCs, so that's gonna be cool. It'll be something different for me. To be honest with you, I don't draw like my OCs enough. Like I do like maybe like one or two illustrations like every like a few years, and I need to get better about that. I think because I don't have like any restraint when it comes to working on artwork, I think that's why I don't draw them that often, because I'm always like in full blown illustration mode rather than just doing like little sketches or things like that. So oh yeah, let me get some water. I'm sitting up straight and I'm about to save. There we go. Let's see, let's get some more these shadows down. And probably, I think there'd be a little bit along this bridge here. There we go, that's pretty good. I just realized I didn't do any real gradient shadow with the skin, but that's okay. I don't think it needs it. Well, let's actually, we're going to bring the shadow down just a bit so it's not too dark. Oh, yeah. Definitely get into the zone way too often. I never leave the zone, I guess. Once I start going, I'm just like, just going ham left and right for absolutely no reason. It's like, yo, can you chill out? And I'm like, no, not at all. What does relaxing mean? I don't know. go. That's pretty good for the gradient part there. Actually, also bring that down some more. There we go. This, and do a little bit of a Terminator color here. Is it working? I think it is. There we go, yeah. Oops, there we go. Bring that down. Some glow dodge on it. Just a little bit. Get more subtle. And let's get some of these bounce light colors. So a little bit down here. Here. And we kind of want some from his like shirt too. So we're gonna kind of, you know what? How about I actually color pick the shirt? That would be cool. There we go. That. Get a little bit of the color in there from the shirt. Especially since it's a white lab coat, so it's going to have the reflections of that a little bit. And let's get his hair color too. Which isn't terribly different. Just kind of around the collar area here. There we go. A lot of this stuff is like really subtle, but it looks nice in the end, so that's what matters. Alright, now we can do our light source. So let's come in this side here. Lighten it up in a little spots. Kind of through here. A little bit in this area too. Now we'll get like our harder light. Get up here a little bit. Blow dodge, and we're gonna blur that a good amount. And we'll take both of these down. So let's do like 10 and like 5 on that. So it's not too crazy. Let's see. Should probably get one that has a lot of the environmental colors for his white jacket. That makes sense, I think. A lot of my lighting is actually kind of like guesswork and also kind of like trying to think in my head about how things would look, so trying to recall my visual library. So that one's got some blues in it. Let's do this one. Thinking this one, and then do it as soft light. And it'll be nice and subtle. We're going to darken this up a bit here. Let's bring these up a little bit and then brighten up some parts of it too. That doesn't seem to be making a hellacious amount of difference there. It's probably alright. I think I'm going to keep the shading a lot more subtle on this one. I am going to do a little bit of some color balance. So I want to put some more, have some more green show up here, so. Let's do some cyan, we'll do some more yellow to it. Put a little bit of red in the halftones too. There we go, I think that looks pretty good. I'm excited to see who wins the next raffle. Alright, so that's the lap coat. Making some pretty good progress already, so let's do the next big spot, which is going to be his shirt. Let's get his base color for his shirt, and we're going to hue shift it to a little bit cooler. And then we're going to make it a little darker. Alright, let's go ahead and get the shadowing from this right here. And inside his collar. I always try to get like the biggest shadow shapes out of the way first. Well, not always, but I try to. I try to do it first. Working like big, medium, small is a pretty good workflow. So a lot of the underside here will be in shadow actually. Let's see. Like that. I can always go in here and carve some of this out. I haven't flipped it in a while, so I should do that too. Make sure things are tracking correctly. Get some of his hair here. Actually, the angle of the collar would be a little closer like that. It's like also trying to like keep in mind the shape of like his anatomy underneath. Something you gotta kind of also think about. I don't think people realize like how complex art actually is, and it's like it's a lot of work to like really think about how to take like really complex things and break them down into manageable like shapes and things like that, like to still be able to convey what you're trying to do. and have it work. It's not easy. I think a lot of people assume like once someone knows how to draw that they can just like draw everything like in a flash, like because they know how to draw it. It's like, dude, no. Not at all. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a hell of a lot of trial and error. So let's get some shadow from his head here. Probably should have done that like right from the start there. Didn't really think about it. Some of the hair might show up in the shadows there. Let's see. A lot of this would be blocked by the coat, so kind of thinking go ahead and block this out, and then if I need to carve any like detail out, I can do that. Could do just like a little thing here to show that there's like a crease. Today's going to be one of those quiet Mondays, I see. Are you also working on something, Nefa? I also feel like a lot of people have like, their 9 to 5s they're going to. So, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. Ah, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's good to also, like take breaks and, either play some like games or maybe like watch something that can like inspire you, that kind of thing. Like it's good to do that every now and then, so. Alright, let's see. Let's carve out a little bit more some of these details here where they're sticking out a bit more and the light might catch it. I don't know if I want to do too much. I think I'm just going to do a little bit here and there. Again, I want to keep the shading on this pretty subtle, pretty basic, so. I think what I could do. I could just kind of lighten some of it up just a little bit here and there. That'd probably work just as well. Oh yeah, that actually works pretty nice. Ooh, I like that. Okay. New technique unlocked. Let's go. That makes it look more like a shirt too. Hell yeah. Just kind of get the planes where they stick up a little bit more and then just slightly or lighten up that spot. Hell yeah. It's exciting. That's probably good. Don't need to go super crazy with it. I think that's what I love about art. It's like every time I do it, I always like learn something new or I figure out something that's like really cool and it's just like really exciting. Makes me happy. Now we can take like the airbrush here, we can just do some of the shaping. I think it's funny that people clown on the airbrush, but it's like, if you know what you're doing with it, like, it's like one of the best tools like you could possibly use. So those people that clown, I can suck it. And of course we're going to use our bounce lighting again. And let's get some of his skin color. Because his skin is gonna like show up a little bit around here and a little bit where it makes contact. And then his hair. Hair will probably bounce a little bit there and a little bit there. And then probably some the color of the light a little bit just in here. There we go. You guys probably can't even see that, but it's there, I promise. I'm doing things. Alright, let's do the hard light now. So it's mostly going to be hitting in this area over here, kind of like across the top of the chest area, like that. And super subtly down here a little bit. Kind of softening up in some of these spots here. A bit of a smaller brush will do the trick. There we go. I always try to imagine that the light is blocked by some sort of like object, so it's not going to be like hitting every single part that's light here. Just kind of trying to think in where it might kind of fall. Again, it's not easy. Can look bad really fast. Soften it a little bit, some spots. Try not to go overboard too. And I think I'm gonna bring some of this down just a bit so it's not like super crazy. That's probably good. Take that down to like 15. Now we'll take it down even more. Let's do 10. And add glow and 5. And I think I want to give his shirt a little bit of some texture, so we're going to do a purlin noise on it. There we go. And I'm going to reduce the opacity down to like 50. No, I might even do more than that. Let's do 30. There we go. That looks good. try to keep using the same gradient map that I did earlier so it's consistent. I think that's the one I used. Maybe. Pretty sure that's the one I used earlier. Actually, I'm going to bring down the opacity on it a little bit so it's not quite as intense. Lighten things up just a little bit. And I'm going to do a tiny bit of color correction. Bring the red up a little bit in the shadows. A little bit of blue in the mid, a little bit of green. Cyan. And some yellow in the highlights. That looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and merge this. We're making lots of progress today, which is great. I got to keep an eye on the time. Havoc has a work meeting and I can't, can't be at least visible. I don't want to get her in trouble. Bring that down to like 20%. There we go. The main part of the shirt here is done. Hell yeah. Let's hit a save. Alright, so I think his hair is the next biggest spot we can work on, so let's do that. Let's get a little bit of a hue shift here and we'll darken. Alright, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is I need to get the shape of his head going here, so let's kind of do this. I'm going to make his eyebrows darker. Let's see, I definitely need some shadowing from his key here. Yeah, good call. Got some water, sitting up straight, saving. I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. Oops. Want that to be eraser. There we go. Thanks. Maybe if I do it this way. Yeah. So here to here, and then probably a little bit down across here, and then a little bit like that. Definitely have this blocked out. I'm glad I take the time to actually like think about like shapes and stuff, because I used to just put whatever, to be honest with you, like just now like I really try to be conscious of the shape of things, where the light's coming from. It's made like a huge difference. No, eraser. There we go. Jeez. Hey, how's it going, Symmetry? Glad you could come hang out with us. I gotta fix this spot too, because this is like the colors from the keys here, like that base. It's causing some artifacts, so I'll fix that. Oh, excuse me, burped. Ooh, oh man. Jeez. Sorry, guys. I feel like Mondays are always a sleepy day. I'm just happy I'm being productive at least. Doesn't always happen. I love this intro. So good. Really need to study my Japanese again. Especially since Duolingo has been making sad faces at me for a long time. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, I don't know. Not studying Japanese. That's what I've been doing. I think it's pretty genius that they actually the little app kind of like shames you basically for not studying. It's very effective on millennials such as myself. It's like a critical hit for us. It's like Duolingo use shame. It's super effective. uh, I don't know if I need it super crazy right here, but maybe not so much on that one. Maybe just right here. Flip it back this way, make sure things aren't getting crazy. Maybe not. Oh shit, we got the beats dropping here. Oops. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and block this out so we get more of the shape of the head in there. Get the round part of the very top of the head here with the hair. Oops. Alright, let's see. Let's get a little bit of the details here on the eyelashes. Again, they're going to be simplified, but still, just a little bit there. Just to kind of show that they have a shape to them. I don't know, maybe I will cut out a little bit of light here on the eyebrow. I think I'll leave it there. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Now we can really get like the shape of the head here. Oops, if I have it actually. A little bit right there. A little bit darker down here. Here. Actually, it will catch a little bit of light right there. A little bit through here. Let's see. Let's do this. I think I need to fix the key thing real quick so I can see. All right. Let's do. Oops. There we go. Now we can kind of see here. There we go. That looks a lot better. Let me fix this. Did that number. There we go. That's good. Footage. Alright, let's get the bounce colors. And his skin color. Oops. And there's going to be a little bit of where the key is kind of right there. That's where the light's going to be up there. It's more of a tilt. Maybe if I go this way. We'll just do a little, some highlight here and there. This makes me want to play Persona 5 so bad. Oops, I just realized his hair isn't filled in up there. Let's go ahead and fix that super fast. Glad I caught that. Let's do just like maybe a few through here. Oops. Oops. Maybe not that way. Maybe if I blur it like that. There we go. Oh yeah, definitely you gotta save, sit up straight, get some water. I'm on it. Alright, let's bring this down. Low dodge. Oops. That. Just keep it nice and subtle. Is this even working? Oh, it's on the smudge brush. That's why. There we go. That's what I want to. It's kind of nice and soft there. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good for the hair. Let's get our gradient map. Oops, not level. I want tones. I'm gonna lighten his hair up quite a bit here. I think that's good. Some color balance. A little bit of green, a little bit of blue. Some more red in his halftones. There we go. I think that looks good. Alright, the hair is done. Check my time here. 3:06. Alright. Let's see if I can get maybe one more thing done. And then we'll have to call it for another stream. So I'm thinking maybe like his eyes and his teeth here would be probably the next thing to go. Because I want to take my time on like the key and make sure that the key looks really cool. So since it's like the main feature of like his character, so that's important. Didn't even have the damn thing selected there. Let's see. Let's use iris color. That's get the water line there. And we could do probably hit more down here. We're just gonna kind of imply the teeth. Actually, let's make these 30. Glow dodge. There we go. That's looking good. That's probably pretty good for the irises. I mean the eye whites and the teeth. You don't have to do too much of them, which is cool. And the last thing we're going to work on is the iris here, and then I will call it for today. Let me actually double check the time. Actually, you know what? I might just go ahead and call it to give Havoc a good amount of time to get prepared for her meeting. So let me just do this last little step here. There we go. Hell yeah. Alrighty, let's move all this over so we can see what we've done for today. I'll turn my big fat head off so you guys can see. And fit the screen. Alright. I think we did an awesome job today. I'm really happy with the way that this is turning out. I feel like I'm really getting back into my anime groove, my anime mode here. So it's also been a lot of fun to work on you guys' characters and whatnot. So it's awesome. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'll stick you guys in the lobby real quick. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I worked on this today. Not working on things alone is always a really good motivator. Have people watching and encouraging me. So thank you so much for that, guys. I will be streaming, of course, again tomorrow. So I will hopefully be wrapping this up tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Suatri. I appreciate it. If you guys aren't following me yet, go ahead and give me a follow to see when I go live. If you would like to, just help me out and see more of my work, possibly consider subscribing.